Live lung cancer, probably one of the common chronic diseases like CHF, COPD, diabetes. At All County Healthcare, we teach you how to manage your disease. We make sure you know how to take your medications and how to recognize signs and symptoms before requiring hospitalization, no matter how many visits it takes. You didn't move to Florida to be sick. You moved here to enjoy the rest of your life. And that's exactly what our team of nurses, therapists, and aides at All County Healthcare help you do.
The following programming is furnished by you and your doctor.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Amp2.tv presents You and Your Doctor, teaching you to live a longer and healthier life. Proudly sponsored by All County Healthcare, where people are the heart of our business. All County Healthcare is a Medicare certified agency where one call will service all your home care health needs. For more information, call 954-717-7027 or visit our website, allcountyhealthcare.com. Now, let's get informed to living a longer and healthier life. Here is your host for today's show.
Welcome, all my friends. I'm back again. This is Lou from All County Healthcare. You know, we have a fantastic show. I know every week we say we have a fantastic show, but tonight's really a fantastic show. Am I right? We have a great gentleman. He's been with us for 5 years, over 5 years. How many years have you been with us, Ed?
12.
12 years. Well, I made a little mistake. Getting old, you forget a few things. Ed's been with us for 12 years. Right now, we're going to call him the Miracle Man because he has a miracle machine that he introduced to our company about 8 years ago?
Actually, it was 2011.
2011. He brought this unit in. He said, Lou, we got something that I want you to look at. He introduced it to a lot of companies. No one would take it. I took a chance. I said, let's bring it in, Ed. You know, so we call it an Ipv unit, Interpulmonary Ventilation unit. What we do with this unit, I'm going to let Ed explain it to you. It was the most fantastic thing. And as the years progressed, we've had more and more patients on it. We got a tremendous amount of letters and what I call, stuff that people have written to us, how wonderful this unit is. And tell us about the Ipv unit, how we got it started, how important it is to the patients that are suffering from any kind of pulmonary disease.
Okay, Ipv, it stands for Intrapulmonary Percussive Ventilation, and it's a form of high-frequency ventilation. Conventional ventilators operate people with either pressure or volume. You set the volume that you want the patient to receive, 500 ml, 600 ml, whatever, or you set the pressure. You want them to get 20 psi, 30 psi, centimeters of water pressure, however they're measuring it. With the Ipv, what we do is we use very, very high frequency boluses of air. It's very, very low pressure, but very high flow rates. Now, the way that this works, and this is nothing new. This technology has been around, and it's been used in critical care, in trauma centers, burn units, for more than 40 years. The way it works is physics is going to dictate that those boluses of air, those high-frequency little puffs of air, are going to go right down the center of the airway, because that's the path of least resistance. If there's anything blocking that airway, those puffs of air are going to keep hitting it until they breach the obstruction. Once they breach it and get beyond it, now they're going to get down to the alveoli, the little air sacs at the very terminal part of the lung, and it's got to come out. So now when the air comes out, the air coming out is going to come out around the walls of the airway, because remember, the air going in is going down through the center. So it's going to come out in a spiraling motion, and anything attached to the walls of the airway comes out with the exhalation.
That's a fantastic description, but guess what? I don't think anybody knows what we're really saying about all this stuff. What we're really talking about is that Ed now has a unit called Ipv Interpulmonary Ventilation. It takes care of people who are suffering from any kind of pneumonia, Ed, some with asthma, some with COPD. It was designed for COPD patients. Now, you see on television today a tremendous amount of COPD ads, how they can't breathe. They're telling their grandson, I can't get up the stairs. Well, this unit, what Ed has, basically is the unit that you would get if you're a COPD patient, or you had any kind of disease whatsoever with respiratory, was put in a hospital. They would put you on this Ipv ventilation system, a larger one, right, Ed?
Not all hospitals use IPV.
Okay. So anyway, Ed is saying, but some hospitals do.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So with the Ipv ventilation, that helps them basically get the secretions out, isn't it, Ed?
That's an airway clearance technique, yes.
So what he's saying is, if I can correct him, Ed is saying, person can't breathe because his airways are all congested
Correct.
with phlegm, etc.
Correct. And they cannot effectively cough and clear their airways themselves.
Okay, so what we have done over the past number of years, we have supplied this therapy to a number of our patients, and I can't tell you all of the wonderful letters that we've received from some of our patients. And I'm going to just read a few so people will realize how great this machine is. So if you know or you are suffering from any kind of pulmonary disease, call us, find out if you can qualify to get the Ipv treatment. You can call us at 954-717-7027. That's All County Healthcare. And Ed, am I safe to say that this respiratory Ipv therapy, we're the only agency that does it in South Florida?
The only agency in all of Florida.
Only agency all of Florida that helps patients at home that can't breathe. And people are talking about COVID. I can't breathe with COVID. I can't breathe with this. Well, guess what? It's all pulmonary. Now, we've lost over 900,000 people from COVID. I don't know how many people we're going to lose from some kind of other respiratory disorders, such as COPD. We had the statistics in our office that we had.
Yes.
How many people were hospitalized and then rehospitalized a number of times because they couldn't basically breathe. And they went in the hospital, and the readmission rate for COPD is what, Ed?
In the state of Florida right now, about 8% of all the patients that are admitted for an exacerbation, a crisis, or their COPD, they get readmitted within 15 days of discharge. Over 30 days, it rises to 20%.
Okay, did you hear what he just said, folks? If you're suffering from COPD, that means you're in and out of the hospital. In and out. With this unit that we have done, we have provided for our patients, it's a mouthpiece. Ed teaches our nurses to provide this therapy to our patients. They all have their own mouthpiece. And Ed, how long has a patient's been staying out of the hospital that we documented, say, how long it keeps them out of the hospital for?
In the one study we did, of our records of our patients, we have less than a 5% readmission rate over 12 months, which is a phenomenal outcome.
I'm going to read a few letters. This is a letter we got, and Ed, you can read a few. From Robert. We're not going to tell you what he is. Thank you for your gift of the help of your own personal Ipv machine for my granddaughter, Victoria Torrey. Oh, sorry, I should have read the name, Victoria. As her grandfather and custodian, I can't tell you thank you enough. I hope that when you pick up this machine that you get to meet Tori, it's her first name, so that you will meet this special little girl that you've given, your generosity has helped her to survive. That's the old young lady that Ed has gone and helped to survive.
That was a cystic fibrosis patient.
Cystic fibrosis patients, a little young kid. You know, and I can tell you, when my son was born, we thought he had cystic fibrosis. Thank God he didn't. And so we didn't go through all of that aggravate, but I know it's a very serious disease. I got another letter.
This was one of the first testimonials we got when we started the program.
From Jane?
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about Jane. What did you do?
Okay, as Mary Jane...
Don't give a last name.
Mary Jane was sending a letter because it was her father that we treated. And at the time we treated her father, he was 81 years old. And he was still playing tennis twice a day, and he was enjoying a wonderful life. Then he developed a very severe sinus infection, which became a bronchial infection. And he started having these pneumonias that were difficult to control. He was on antibiotics all the time, and the antibiotics themselves, you know, had an impact on his strength and his general feelings. So we got him started on the IPV. We cleared up his pneumonia. And within a month or so, he was pretty much back to his normal lifestyle. Now he was a snowbird. They were from North Carolina, and what prompted Mary to write this letter was the fact that she could not find how she could continue for her father to receive the therapy when they went back to North Carolina, because they couldn't find anybody in North Carolina that would provide it at home.
Was she trying to advocate this for Medicare, to put this in force for Medicare? She wants Medicare to pay for it?
Yep.
All right. What that is saying now, Medicare does not pay for this, but you don't pay for it either. We pick up the cost for this unit, and the nursing, we get covered. Medicare will cover the nursing. So it's something that we're doing to help you, the patient, live a better life, better quality of life. So if you know anyone or in your family that's suffering from COPD or any kind of pulmonary order, call us there, get a hold of Ed. We'll do an assessment with your doctor's approval to make sure that he qualifies for this. And again, this is no charge to you or your patient or your friend, whoever has COPD. Another letter we got. I mean, we just keep getting these letters and letters and letters. How wonderful they are. Matter of fact, we have a new nurse that's doing this right now, Colleen. She's a new nurse that's out in the field, and she can't believe how wonderful this unit is doing for the patients. They look forward to it, don't they, Ed?
And they call her. They want to make sure that she's coming because they don't
This
want to miss their therapy.
This came from David. I was diagnosed with viral pneumonia a month ago, and I was having a terrible time getting around the house. Just from my bedroom to the bathroom, I would get winded. My breathing capacity was 1/4 of the normal person. Then my daughter, an RN herself, decided to do some research for breathing therapy because she was very concerned I was not getting any better despite the medication I was taking. She founded a company named All County Healthcare. She did some research and then told me about it. I made a phone call and had the pleasure of meeting Ed Salazar. After hearing the high-frequency progressive Ipv ventilation, I said I'd try it. The first time I used the device, it allowed me to start coughing up the junk. He calls it junk. It's all the phlegm. When this phlegm gets in there and you can't breathe, folks, guess what? It's very, very frightening. Very frightening. You think you're going to die. So you go to the hospital. They keep you in there. With all the COVID cases now, you don't want to go to the hospital. You want this done at home. So again, call All County Healthcare, where I said, Ed is our miracle man. All right? So what happened is, and he had the miracle machine. One of our patients called it a miracle machine, don't they, Ed?
Yeah, they sure did.
I noticed that the next day I had more volume and was able to breathe easy. Each time after my treatments, my volume of breathing continues to increase. Before using the percussive high-frequency ventilation therapy, nothing seemed to help. But now I am able to walk around the house, eat with the family, and do exercise, and I can take showers by myself. I even tried going up the steps in our home, and I could do that too. Ed Salazar comes to my house and gives me the therapy. He is very knowledgeable, and I have been able to learn a lot about my condition. I feel confident that at the end of the treatment, I will be much better. Again, the miracle man went and saved another person's life. Quality of living, quality of life. What is quality of life if you don't have quality of life? What is life if you don't have it? How many people are staying home and can't breathe, can't walk, can't do anything? Most of these patients are in that position, aren't they?
Very many of them, yes.
Another letter you got from Natalia. Read that letter, Ed. What did she say about the IPV?
Well, I'm sorry, you're looking at Natalia?
Natalia, I am writing this letter for a clinician standpoint. She's a clinician.
Oh, this was she's a nurse practitioner.
Right.
And she works at the cystic fibrosis clinic in Orlando. And she just could not understand why she could not get insurance authorization for the therapy. And, we worked something out with her. We worked something out with a compromise. And, bottom line, the patient did very, very well. And she is now one of our strongest advocates.
So what Ed is trying to say, all these advocates right now are trying to call Medicare. Medicare is the agency that you have for home health. On the Part A, Medicare provides you with home health. That was done when Medicare came in existence in, I think it's 1968, signed by, it was part of the Kennedy, help me with the vice president at that time, Kennedy and Johnson. LBJ signed it into law, It was whereby seniors now could get care for the rest of their lives once they retired. It's called Medicare. Now, Medicare approves certain things, what they call for, I guess, I like to call it what they call for units to be paid for, and some units they turn down. We're trying to get this through Medicare for approval for a DME product, durable medical equipment product, where Medicare will pay for it. So if you know anybody that has a problem, please give us a call. Very important. And I'm sure out there you know someone that's in your family, that's outside your family, a friend, someone you know is having breathing problems. Guess what? We're the only company that can treat them at home. You don't want to go to a hospital. Not today with COVID. You got to call your doctor. Let's try it. What do you got to lose? What do you got to lose? If you don't use it, you might lose your life. What do you got to lose? What you got is a product out there that hasn't been publicized. We're the only company that has it. We're not pushing all county healthcare for everything, but if you have a pulmonary problem and you're a nurse out there or you're a doctor out there, you want to put your patients, if you care about your patients, you want to try IPV. I had one doctor in town. He really was a little hesitant, right? Well, I heard about this. Now we tried it on his patients. Guess what? We tried it on, that young lady was almost 90. She wanted to go to her daughter's wedding. Mm-hmm. And he said, give her a try. After 1 week, he couldn't believe the difference in her breathing. Right now, we're going to take a little 30-second break, and we'll be right back.
All County Healthcare has exciting news for any and all patients with COPD or other respiratory ailments. Listen to what renowned pulmonologist Dr. Keith Robinson has to say.
Hello, I'm Dr. Keith Robinson, board-certified pulmonologist, medical director at Fusion Health Pulmonary Rehabilitation, and a board member with the American Lung Association of South Florida. Hello. We have exciting news for patients with COPD. We now offer IPV therapy at home, which has been demonstrated to improve airway clearance, decrease hospitalization, and improve quality of life of patients with COPD. Please call All County Healthcare for more information about this FDA-approved therapy.
For further information, call All County Healthcare now at 954-717-7027. That is 954-717-7027. Or visit our website at allcountyhealthcare.com. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Remember, All County Healthcare always puts the patient's needs first. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram.
We back?
Patient's needs first. You are listening to You and Your Doctor, Living Longer and Healthier, an informative show that helps you find answers to questions you always wanted to ask, but did not have that somebody that could make a difference in your life. Call into the show if you have a question at 888-565-1470, and we will put you on the air to inform all our listeners. Now, back to our show.
Welcome back, folks. And again, we're talking about IPV, Interpulmonary Ventilation. Probably doesn't mean much to you, but IPV, Interpulmonary Ventilation, is a lifesaver. It's like if you're in the ocean and you're drowning and they throw you a life raft. That keeps you afloat for a while. But until somebody rescues you, you're still in the water. What we do with the Ipv unit, we call it our lifesaver for a lot of people. It saves a lot of lives. It improves their life. It improves their quality of life. What we're giving you tonight is prime examples of what people have said about this unit. It's called Ipv, how it's helped them basically to survive. Matter of fact, I was flying to Boston. A young lady sitting aside of me, she asked me what I did. I told her I was in the home care business. And she was talking to me. She says, I got a father, my dad, he's suffering so bad he's going to die. Why is he dying? He has COPD so bad. Well, I said, listen, call me and we'll try to get him on this IPV therapy. Well, she went home. She started talking to her father. Her father was very, very, he was a lieutenant colonel in the military. And he finally said, I'm going to die. And finally he said to his daughter, call that company. I want to try it. Well, she called the company. We finally got Ed out there to try it. Ed, tell us about Lieutenant Colonel Bill.
Bill's a great guy. I actually met him at his pulmonologist's office because the pulmonologist had questions about the therapy. He wasn't familiar with it himself. So I went to the office and I met with the doctor, and he said, sure, I can't see how it would do any harm. So he wrote the script, and that same day...
And our nurses did it.
The same day we started the therapy on him. Now, let me go ahead and read the first part of this letter.
It was the second day. We couldn't start the first day, start the second day.
It says, I know it has only been 4 days since All County Healthcare began my IPV therapy treatments for my COPD and my other breathing difficulties. But the results thus far have been so amazing that I wanted to share it with you. As you know, before I began the IPV, my COPD had worsened considerably. I was hospitalized twice in August, and in September I started needing supplemental oxygen when I slept. And between September and November, my dependence on the nebulizer rose from once a day to 4 times a day. And eventually I was trying to take the treatment 6 times a day. I found it difficult to wait for the 4 hours between treatments. My breathing had become so bad. Since starting the IPV treatments, the episodes of shortness of breath have virtually disappeared, as have my former reliance on the nebulizer. I am now only using my nebulizer 2 to 3 times a day instead of 6, and even then, sometimes I don't feel like I really need it. I'm looking forward to following therapy sessions with All County Healthcare. I am now so much more optimistic about my health going forward. Thank you so very much. And what he has done since he wrote that letter, he amazed his wife when he suggested that they go on a cruise.
I was just going to say
she had no idea they would ever have that kind of lifestyle again.
As a matter of fact, this reunited him with his wife because they were having difficulty. Matter of his daughter wrote to me and emailed me to tell me how amazing this unit is, and that he was even planning a cruise with his wife. She said, this is just the most amazing product there is. So he looks forward to his therapy sessions like most of our patients do. Some of these patients are on therapy for 4 days, 7 days, 11 days, 20 days. Matter of fact, one of our patients stayed on it for a year, didn't he?
2 years.
2 years. Why? Because he had to breathe. Right? And again, these are, somebody said, are those real letters? These are real letters from real patients. Now, you got to understand, if you're suffering from COPD or you're suffering from any kind of respiratory disorder, what are you going to do? You're going to go to your physician. He's going to give you a nebulizer. You see all these ads with nebulizers on the TV. This one nebulizer does all the treatments. This other nebulizer does it. Let me tell you, if you're using a nebulizer, then you want to try IPV therapy. It's the most important thing for any individual to try. Now, you may qualify, you may not qualify. Now, there's some people that don't have insurance. All County will do it for moderate fee, even cash out of pocket. Am I correct, Ed?
Yes.
Same as Medicare rates. So if you're young, you don't have Medicare, you have another insurance, guess what? All County will sit down with you and work out some plan that you can afford so that you get the treatments. Our nurses, Ed has developed a whole respiratory team to supply you with this therapy, to go to your home and give you this therapy. All you need is a script from your doctor saying, I want airway clearance. He'll send a script into All County Healthcare saying, I met this patient, we order all airway clearance. I was telling you just before the break, one of our doctors, and it really didn't really believe in it until, he sent a patient over. The patient was in 90s. She was going to die. And I said, let's try the IPV. She tried the IPV. She wanted to see her granddaughter get married. She saw the granddaughter get married. She stayed alive for a long time after. She even danced at the wedding. The doctor couldn't believe what happened with this therapy. Now we get all his patients that basically need airway clearance.
Well, our other physician, your other friend up there in Lake Worth, he recommended his father for therapy.
He recommended his father do it. All right. So if these physicians right now are recommending their own family members to do it, so you know someone out there and you're a helping hand, and you want to help this individual, you know he's suffering from some kind of respiratory ailments, call All County Healthcare, 954-717-7027. Ed will give you a call back. Ask for Ed Salazar, one of our receptionists, or our intake person will make sure Ed gets the message. If he doesn't get the message, ask for me, Lou Biazzi, and I'll make sure Ed does get the message. All right? So please, we have 1 minute left. I can't emphasize enough how important under today with COPD, 900,000 people have died, passed away with respiratory disorder, failure. If you have any kind of respiratory failure at all, you want to see if our IPV treatment will help you. Again, remember, we're the only company in the state of Florida that's providing this treatment. I guess I have a few more minutes, a couple more seconds to do this thing. My producer's telling me I only have a couple more seconds. Ed, I want to thank you. Ed, our miracle man, who runs our miracle machine.
It's very rewarding work, and it's my pleasure to work with all kinds.
I bring Ed. Ed comes on anytime we need him. He's at everybody's disposal. He's an expert in this unit. He's been a respiratory therapist for how long?
45 years.
45 years. At that, I'm going to say goodnight to everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful, safe weekend. Please stay safe. Love you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Thank you for letting us share with you a longer and healthier lifestyle. If you have a doctor or are a doctor and wish to be on the show, call AMP2TV at 866-244-5422, and we will put you on the air as soon as possible. Tune in next week for more information on living longer and having a healthier life.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsor